A warrior never dies till his death. This is what comes to your mind when you think about a certain character in the world of Indian cricket named Sourav Ganguly.
Nagpur 2008. India versus Australia. Saurav's last test. 85 in the first innings and a Bradmanesque 0 in the second. As he walked back to the pavilion for the final time, Sourav looked up.
I think it was just an instant reaction, and all that was in my mind is when I got out and went back halfway down the ground, I realized that I will not walk out to bat for India anymore. So it was end of a 13-14 year career.
I love this part of Kolkata, an absolute departure from the matter-of-fact cold metro. I can hear the buzz of so many dreams at work. This is Kolkata Maidan, where many great players, good players and not so good players discover their path. And the quest is still on. This is the Taltola ground, and on the other side, with the basketball court, is the police tent. And here, this ground with the gallery is the Aryan Club. I think there's a bit of Britain still left in them. My destination now is Dukhiram Coaching Center. When I started to study Sourav, I was looking for his first real cricket experience. I'm sure he had a few at home with his cricketer brother around, but those were not of much significance. But this place certainly deserves to start his cricketing tale. It may not be the most modern, well-equipped cricket academy, but it certainly treasures the virgin moment when Sourav first faced his serious delivery or drove his maiden cover drive. In this modest light of shadow and sun, his journey began.
বড় ছেলেটাই তো ক্রিকেট খেলতো, ওকে ছোটবেলা থেকে আমি এরমভাবে তৈরি করেছিলাম। তখন আমি সিএবি সেক্রেটারি ফেক্রেটারি ছিলাম। তো এ আসতো না, এ ফুটবল নিয়ে ব্যস্ত থাকতো। হঠাৎ একদিন বাড়িতে আমাকে জিজ্ঞেস করছে, আচ্ছা বাপি, দাদা এত খেলে আন্ডার 15 আন্ডার 17, তা আমি কেন খেলতে পারি না? তো তখন 11-12 বছরের পরে বলে আমাকে একটু খেলাও না। আমি বলি তুই তো খেলতে জানিস না। বলে কেন জানিস না, চলো নিচে বল করো, আমি ব্যাট করছি, দেখবে চলো। দেয়ালে ঢাং করে মারছে। তা আমি তা রাজকে বললাম, রাজ ওকে একটা জায়গায় ভর্তি করে দে, তুই ওকে নিয়ে আয়। ওকে ওর মাকে বলতাম তুমি ওকে নিয়ে একদিন করে এসো, নেটে প্র্যাকটিস করুক, এ করুক।
We both used to play in our lawn in our house. My dad made a concrete wicket over there so that we can practice with nets on over there. And we used to get all the bowlers from our local para. They used to bowl in dews or cambys. In young age we used to play a lot of cambys, but when we start playing like Vijay Martin, then I used to play on dews, but Sourav used to play in cambys. Like that way he generated interest in cricket.
Sourav grew up playing all sorts of sports. Football was his passion. Cricket was never his favorite. The Maradonas ruled his heart, not the Gavaskars. But the cricketing atmosphere in the family gradually got the better of him. The Maradonas had to make way for the Gavaskars, though his mother never failed to remind him that he was a student too.
না, ওর পড়াশোনাতে মনও ছিল। ও ও যতই খেলাধুলো করুক কিন্তু পড়াটাও ঠিকভাবে চালিয়ে যেত। সারাদিন খেলতো কিন্তু আমি অনেক রাত্রির অবধি বসে পড়াতাম। টিউশন থেকে আসতো, একদিন 12টা 1টা বেজে যেত রাত্রি, তখনও পড়াশোনা করতো। শুধু খেলা নিয়েও থাকতো না কোনোদিন।
I used to come and just enjoy. It was more of an opportunity to get away from my mom, who always used to want me to study. An opportunity to get away from home, come and spend time outside.
Does the Southpaw remember his first ever 100 at his favorite Eden Gardens?
Yes, I do actually. I've got fond memories of this place. That time, I think I was 14-year-old. I was practicing at Dukhiram coaching center, just like that. My school holidays had finished, so I used to go there every afternoon with no kit, just to spend time and get away from home. So I practiced for 2-3 days, and Mr. Ashok Mustafi, then, who was the coach there, said that Bengal has requested them to give some players from the academy who would come and play those practice games. So he asked me whether you would want to play. I said yes, of course I'll want to play. I came here. I remember it was a Sunday. It was Sunday and it was absolutely empty. There was no one. And Orissa was a very strong team then. It was an under 15 side, but most of them looked under 19. So I got my brother's bat and gloves and pads, and I came out to play here, and I just played. I just enjoyed batting. They dropped me, I think, 5 or 6 times in different parts of the ground, and by evening I was batting on 100.
Saurav's first trip to England happened decades ago, but he can still smell the baked beans, fresh toast, and walk down memory lane to recall the day one of the greatest one-day opening pairs of the world started their partnership.
I think it was 1988. I think that was the first time I went. On the first trip, Rahul wasn't there. It was Sachin, Vinod, Jadeja, and few other players who went on to play for India. The second time when I went back again in '89, then there was Rahul, Dravid.
With Sourav, I met him long time ago when I think I was 12 or 13. 13, we went to England together and got to know him very well. We spent about a month together.
I still remember we landed in central London and moved on to stay at the Westminster School. It's probably the best school I've seen in my life. The first year in 1988, we were given dormitories. So I still remember I lived in there were 4 of us sharing a room which used to be a prison for the monks. And there were no windows. It was pitch dark. In the night when you switched off the lights and went off to sleep, you couldn't see anything. You couldn't see the person next to you. And we used to have a big, massive coach in England, and how comfortable that place is. You travel from one place to another, and you play in those beautiful grounds. I remember my first 100 was at the Westminster School cricket ground. It's one of the loveliest cricket grounds I've seen, right in the heart of central London. I still remember Mike Brearley had come over to watch the game for us, and I had got 100 on a pitch which did a bit. I was young. I was 14, 15 then, so it was fantastic. We used to finish the day's play. We used to pack our bags and put it at the back of the bus, and we used to be on the coach from one place to the another. So it was brilliant. I think those two trips for a month were the best times of my life.
Then we came back. We both were in the under 15 national camp in Indore, where we spent another month. So by then, I have this habit of playing pranks. So we used to always be up to something, but it was fantastic because I remember when we toured in England, Sourav and we both had some good partnerships in England. Also had wonderful time in Indore. The only dream was to play for India, and we worked in every possible manner.
Westminster Abbey তে সকলে আমরা ব্রেকফাস্ট খেতে যেতাম. It used to be a massive table. আমি জানি না কত বড় হবে হয়তো. It must be about 100 feet লম্বা টেবিল, wooden টেবিল, সেই পুরনো দিনের কাঠের টেবিল, বেঞ্চি, from one end to the other. আর সবাই গিয়ে বসতো, বসে ওরা প্লেটে দিত. ওখানে টিপিক্যাল ইংলিশ ব্রেকফাস্ট সাজানো থাকতো. সে একজন ড্রাম বাজাচ্ছে আর ওখানকার ইংলিশ সাদা ড্রেসে পরে সবাইকে ব্রেকফাস্ট সার্ভ করছে, বেক বিনস অ্যান্ড টোস্ট। সেই প্রথম বেক বিনস অ্যান্ড টোস্ট খাওয়া আর কি।
খেতে বরাবরও ভালোবাসি, কিন্তু খাওয়ার কোনো প্রবলেম ছিল না। তুমি ডাল ভাত দিলেও খেত, আলু ভাতে ভাত দিলেও খেত, আবার বিরিয়ানি দিলেও খাবে। ওর যখন মাধ্যমিক পরীক্ষা হয় তখন আমরা লন্ডন চলে গিয়েছিলাম, কারণ ওর বাবা সেই সময় বাইপাস হয়েছিল। তারপরে যখন আমরা 1 মাস বাদে ফিরলাম তখন আমি ওকে দেখে একটু অবাক হয়ে গেলাম, দেখলাম ওর ওজন 7-8 কেজি বেড়ে গেছে। আমি তো নেমেই প্রথমেই বললাম, তুই কী করে এত মোটা হলি? তো ও বললো, মা হয়ে গেছি। তাহলে খেলবি কী করে? এবার তো পরীক্ষা শেষ হলেই তোর খেলা। ও আমি ঠিক রোগা হয়ে যাব। তারপরে এসে শুনলাম বাড়িতে সব লোকের কাছে ও সারাদিনই খেত, যতক্ষণ পড়তো ওর কোনো না কোনো খাবার তার সঙ্গে থাকতো। এখনও আমার সঙ্গে রীতিমতো ঝগড়াঝাঁটি হয় খাওয়া নিয়ে, এ নিয়ে ও নিয়ে, রোজই বকুনি খায়।
I wish to see an encore of Sourav from them. Yeah, I know it's a big ask. Playing for state itself is no mean achievement, especially in India where cricket is so big. And that achievement arrived in Sourav's life with a bit of melodramatic setting. Sourav made his first Ranji debut, replacing his elder brother Snehashish, that too in the finals.
If I go back in 89-90, that time we were playing against Delhi, Ranji Trophy final at Eden Gardens. And Sourav was very young, hardly 16-17 that time. We were looking for the one more bowler who can bat, at least like batting all-rounder. So Sourav was ideal choice. So I was tremendous confidence about his talent and about his capability of as a cricketer.
It was at the middle of 1991 when the tour got picked, when the team got selected, and I was 18-year-old. So to get picked for India at that age and go on a major tour to Australia was out of this world for me.
How often the hard, cruel world gets better of us? During my research, I realized that 50% of the game is mental, which makes it a very key factor. Sourav's mental strength was tested very early in his career. Just after being picked up for the national team, he was dropped. He had only one ODI for a chance. For the whole Australian tour of '92, he was just a passenger.
I was actually a passenger, to be honest, in the right sense, and I didn't get to play any cricket. There were 5 test matches. There was a tri-series with West Indies, and I just played one one-day game in a span of 4 months.
Controversy entered Sourav's cricketing life right from his maiden international tour. Stories reached the Indian shores from down under that he was reluctant to do the 12th man's job.
I think there was obviously an orchestrated campaign. Some players of the Indian team, and particularly the physio Ali Irani, they were saying things against him. They were saying that he refused to carry the drinks. I don't know whether it was true or not, but this went on for nearly 5-7 minutes. Then Azhar came and said that, forget the story, why are you poisoning his ears? I still remember Azhar said that. Then Kapil Dev came and said, what is this going on?
It was just a story, something which filled the column. There was no truth in it.
It is absolutely unlikely that a youngster who is trying to make a debut for India and on his first overseas tour, his conduct will be found wanting.
The selectors ignored him for 4 long years. Some said he was lost. Some termed it as his time in the wilderness. Yes, wilderness it was.
Four long years tested him as an individual. The national selectors ignored him time and again. Sourav was then a young boy with an incredible gift, yet totally ignorant about the diabolic politics of Indian cricket.
I did actually lead a normal teenager's life, playing cricket, playing Ranji Trophy, playing club cricket in Kolkata, have fun, play the sport, practice. I had to study as well.
1996. The World Cup semi-final debacle opened the door for fresh talents to come in. Sourav got the nod for the English tour.
I can still remember the date, venue, and the time. Meeting was on in Delhi, Taj Palace Hotel, 23rd April 1996. Meeting was supposed to start at 11 o'clock and it was supposed to finish at maximum 1:30, but meeting finished at 4:15. I proposed other selectors and the captain and the coach was there. In English condition, his bowling maybe give a good break. I never said that Ganguly will take 5 for 35. Not like that. I said in England on that heavy condition, you might give you one break, two break initially or in between. So, it was big drama, on and on and on and on.
Sourav's emergence in world cricket was an explosion of the highest decibel.
That's beautifully struck. That's gone out of the ground.
His effortless batting was poetry in motion and comfort for a million eyes.
96 ও ডেবিউ করলো তখন আমি জানি না যে ওর টিমে খেলবে কিনা হঠাৎ যখন ইংল্যান্ড থেকে ওর কাকা ফোন করছে সৌরভ টিমে আছে আজকের টেস্টে সৌরভ খেলছে সেদিনের কথা আমি আর ভুলতে পারবো না সে মানে পাগল হয়ে গেছিলাম সেদিনটা আমি
So I was asking my son, he was watching the match. Maharaj কত করলো? বলে 20 batting.
Good shot from Ganguly.
ওর রাহুল ডেভিড যখন দুজনে খেলে যাচ্ছে তখন সত্যিই খুব আনন্দ হচ্ছে যে যদি একটা সেঞ্চুরি করে ফেলতে পারে যদি একটা সেঞ্চুরি করতে পারে
Again after 10-15 minutes I said কত হলো? বলে 30 batting. So I was still a bit nervous you can say. Then I said what is now? বলে 42. Then I feel okay right he is set now.
প্রথমে তো খেলেছে বলে খুব আনন্দ কিন্তু যখন ও খেলে যাচ্ছে তখন সত্যিই খুব আনন্দ হচ্ছে যে যদি একটা সেঞ্চুরি করে ফেলতে পারে যাই হোক দারুণ ইনিংস খেলে ওটাকে ও সেঞ্চুরি করলো আবার ভীষণ আনন্দ আমাদের হোল ফ্যামিলিতে সেদিন একটা বিরাট আনন্দ
What a wonderful way to bring up your century.
It's unbelievable actually. I played 112 test matches after that and I never had that mindset. I got runs for India, I became successful, but that mindset at Lord's was just amazing. Just walking out at Lord's on that first day morning after we won the toss and we fielded was a huge like I can't explain it in words. And every time the ball came to me at the point boundary, I would pick it up, feel happy. I didn't know how 5 days flew away in that test match.
He was termed a quota cricketer on selection, and before Lord's happened, Sourav was not spared sarcasm.
No, I don't think it was in that sense. Azhar was always a quiet person, a nice person on a tour, and it was my first trip with him. He was captain of India, a big player then. I didn't know in what sense he asked, but obviously after I got that 100, not that 100, I think that knock at Old Trafford, he was very receptive, he was nice, he wanted me to play, he wanted me to do well, and I still remember that gift I got from him after I got that 100 at Lord's. Ovation I got from Anil, who was actually waiting in front of the doorstep to congratulate.
There is a big board inside the Lord's dressing room in which it has been written that SC Ganguly 131 because every centurion or every 5-wicket taker's name is there on that elite board, and we really felt proud that one Bengali's name is there.
Being in love brings out the best in you. More so It triggers the rebel in you. It actually happened to a certain 23-year-old Behala boy. Sourav Ganguly was well and truly in love with the girl next to his door, Donna, the daughter of a business rival. The rising superstar of Indian cricket who takes bold decisions on the field actually took the boldest of it. He secretly got married to his childhood sweetheart, Donna.
এটা ওই বলুক I saw her very young. When she was young, she used to live next door. So I used to see her all the time, going out, coming in. And I've basically seen her grow up. So it was not obviously when you see someone and you feel that's the one. It's grown over the years.
But I remember our first date, like we just went out casually or met somewhere for 5-10 minutes maybe.
That's it, he's got yet another wicket.
Saurav's career took off like a rocket to the moon. The young, lanky boy from Bengal became the star of India. He performed all over the world and won 4 consecutive Man of the Match awards in Toronto.
First World Cup in '99, first game against South Africa. I got out for 97, but that would have given a World Cup debut 100. 26-year-old boy trying to make a mark at world stage and scored nearly 400 runs in the World Cup. Sussex se hobe ekhono mone ache amar. খেলার আগের দিন প্র্যাকটিস করে উইকেটের পাশে মাঠের ধারে আমি আর রাহুল বসে দুজনে একসাথে ডেবিউ মাঠে বসে দুজনে দুজনকে বলছি ফার্স্ট ওয়ার্ল্ড কাপ গেম জীবনে কোনোদিন ভাবিনি ওয়ার্ল্ড কাপ খেলবো ইন্ডিয়ার ফার্স্ট ওয়ার্ল্ড কাপ গেম আমি ওপেনিং ও 3 নম্বর উইকেট কেরাম সিম করবে কতটা বাউন্স হবে সাউথ আফ্রিকার সাথে তখন ওয়ান অফ দ্য ওয়ার্ল্ডস বেস্ট বোলিং অ্যাটাক পলক ডনাল্ড ক্লুজনার ক্যালিস সাউথ আফ্রিকান টিম দারুণ টিম সো দিস আর গ্রেট মেমোরিজ
We needed to win that match. We were down. We lost two matches already in the World Cup. We were under a lot of pressure, and we needed to win the game. And just from the first ball, we were striking the ball well. We were hitting the ball well, and we just kept batting and kept batting. And I mean, in those days, 300-run partnership was quite a rarity in one-day cricket. If you want to win matches for India, then you got to be able to carry on and play big knocks. And I think that sort of did that a lot, during his career.
We've got to make that 48 because that's over the pavilion as well. I think that's his 100. It's his first in the World Cup and his 7th in all.
We were playing Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka had just beaten South Africa. We had to deliver or we were home. We would not even qualify for the Super 6. And there we played the important knock of both of us of the tournament. Sachin was going up and down from Mumbai because he had lost his father. So there was a lot of pressure on both of us because we were in form, and we had to raise the bar to lift the team and I still have got the videos at home and I sometimes sit and watch it. Batting that way was just fantastic.
Stunning. See you later. 150 for Ganguly.
The only chances for us to come to the Super 6 was taken out by him. He came and played his shots. He was one of the best Indian batsmen at that time, and he came and played his normal game, and that made us to stay out of the 99 competition, and that lost my captaincy.
The end of a magnificent innings, one of the best innings you'll ever see. The highest score by an Indian batsman, Sourav Ganguly, has gone for 183.
What a magnificent innings this has been from the left-hander. Everybody standing up to applaud an innings. Very, very fortunate to be here at the ground to see this. He may have fallen short of that 194, but this is an absolutely top-class innings, and it has put India in the driver's seat. 183, he's out.
Soon after the 1999 World Cup, Ganguly was named deputy to the then captain, Sachin Tendulkar. Legal authorities started questioning the very existence of Indian cricket. Disbelief started getting embedded in the minds of millions.
From Sachin's deputy, he was promoted to lead the team against the visiting Springboks. The situation was very volatile as the match-fixing scandal rocked the Indian cricket. Sourav was set to bring back the lost honor. A new dawn greeted Indian cricket.
The match-fixing issue really took its turn, I think 3 months after I became captain. This was after we finished Bangladesh and I had gone back to England. I heard about all these stories, but I was too far away in England playing county cricket day in, day out. So I actually didn't get to read a lot. And when I came back to India in the month of September to get ready for the ICC knockout, which used to be the Champions Trophy, and it still is, a lot of the names which were talked about in this match-fixing issue, with due respect, I'm not aware of what's happened there, and I'm not aware how far it's true or because I haven't gone much deep into it. I came and I was made captain of a completely young team, and then we played outstandingly. So a lot of talent came in. Yuvraj, Zahid, Harbhajan, Virendra Sehwag came in, and they were just world-class players.
I think the best captain of India have ever. That's the first comes in my mind, because Sourav Ganguly was the first captain after that match-fixing scandal in 99 or 2000. He became a captain, and after that he picked lots of youngsters and supported really well, and asked them to, okay, you are here to play the next 30 games and give them confidence to the younger player, and carry on after that, and that's why we become a good player.
Captaining India for anybody will always be an honor, and I can remember when I first walked out on the park as a full-time captain in Cochin against South Africa, I couldn't sleep the night before. I was thinking what to do. My first team meeting, I still remember in Cochin, I didn't know what to say because there were players under whom I started my careers, and then suddenly walk into a team meeting where you had to speak and you had to decide everything and take all the call. It was different.
I think I was a second tour only when Sourav was captaining, when I had my debut in Champions Trophy 2000, and yeah, I mean, I was nervous seeing Sachin, Sourav, Rahul, all these senior players, and I remember Sourav coming up to me and telling me that we need your bowling as well. I have seen you batting, but I also need your bowling as well. We were starting our career, and things didn't really go well for us because we were just learning, and consistency wasn't there for guys like me, Sehwag, Harbhajan, Ashish. So he always used to come and talk to us. I remember once me and Viru were not doing so well in Sri Lanka tour, and he came and really pepped us up. And the next game, I scored 98, and the very next game, Viru scored 100. So he was a very good senior to have around you.
The true self of Sourav surfaced when he started to lead India at a very testing time. He showed a lot of character and held a very mature head on a young shoulder. Captaincy came naturally to him. He seemed a born leader. The results prove the fact as he went on to become the most successful captain of India.
He's the most successful Indian captain ever, so he should be very proud of that. It's always hard for an opposition player to make judgments on an opposition captain because a lot of the captaincy work is done behind closed doors. It's not just about field placements or bowling changes or batting orders. It's about a lot of the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. So I've always found it hard to make judgments on the opposition captains, but if you look at his record, it stacks up very well compared to other Indian captains.
I still remember when we were playing Australia in India, 2001, and he was the first guy who used to go and say a few things to the batsmen. He used to go and stand on the silly point and just make sure they are not comfortable on the crease. And probably we looked at him and we started also saying the same sort of things, and we started giving them back.
That's the only way we could beat Australia. This is 2011, and whatever little bit of cricket I have been part of since 1996 until now, that's the best possible team I have seen.
He was aggressive. It was controlled aggression, and the way he controlled the team on the field, the various situations where we were challenged, the way we reacted and the way he handled was very good. It was very good.
He had a vision for Indian cricket. He built a team for the future, which is paying dividends still today. Harbhajan, Sehwag, Yuvraj, and many others had the protective hand of Sourav on their head when Sourav's Team India conquered new territories.
I remember those days when I was out of the team for a lot of other reasons, not just cricketing reasons. I was chucked out of the cricket academy and a lot of things happened in my life, and Sourav was the first person who supported me at that time. I was nowhere, not even in the first 30 for the probables against Australia, when they came over in 2001, and I did well in that season.
Let's have a full toss. Well, you can't see where the ball bounced first.
And we all as a team produced results. So, everything was heading in the right direction. The force became a formidable force.
And there's the double 100 for VVS Laxman. Oh, he's patted that. Oh, he's given him! He's given him! Umpire Bansal's given him! That's the end of the test match.
I still remember the first test that we won against Australia, where we came back from behind. I've never played in world cricket in an atmosphere like that. And the last day after tea, there must have been 100,000 watching and another 25,000 sitting on the footsteps watching the test match.
Bachchan Singh. Oh, he's got it away. This will be it. He'll come back for the second. India have won the test match. India have won the series.
Final frontier. That's how Steve Waugh defined Australia's tour of India in 2001. His marauding team was stopped after 16 straight victories at Sourav's backyard. Lakshman and Dravid played the innings of their life in one of the greatest series of all time. Sourav's Team India crossed many a boundary as they started to win abroad more frequently to put away the tag of being soft travellers.
Oh, that is a blazing blade of Sourav Ganguly. Right out of his own.
The rocket. This has come out right out of the screws. He's given himself room and thrashed that through the offside. It was uppish, but in the gap.
I remember that when me and Caf were batting, I could see stands getting empty. People were not expecting me to Caf because we never really created such a big victory for India. And
bowled him.
And I could see the dressing room, I could see everybody upset. And once the partnership started going, everybody got in on the game, stands started to pick up again. And, I got out of a very crucial state. I could see Sourav, he was just holding his chains, holding his gourds all the time. And you always know Sourav, he used to get nervous when other players were batting. And the moment, the cap hit the winning runs, Sourav just lost it. He took his shirt off and, he waved, and it was just a big celebration. And
Sourav Ganguly is thrilled to bits. But have a look at the Indian contingent in the crowd. Mohammad Khair has played an outstanding innings, 87 from 75 balls. He, along with Yuvraj Singh, has fashioned.
Before we could realize, what is happening, it was over. And then we had a good laugh about it. We said, And I know exactly why he did that. Earlier we had seen Indian team lifting the World Cup in 1983, and now again, chasing 323 runs was a big thing. And we came from nowhere and we won. The feeling was incredible. We all went out that night, the whole team, the manager, everyone, our friends were there, and it was great feeling. So all that put together, again we kept reminding him. And then after that also, so many guys, kids would do that. I've seen kids doing that, honestly. I mean, it was funny. It's one of those moments where, you're taken by surprise, and you watch that every now and then. Even after 7-8 years, you watch that and you still can't stop laughing.
As Sourav cherished the honor of being captain and representing the entire nation, he could not avoid paying a small ransom which came with the territory. He travelled so extensively that it seemed like he was living out of a suitcase. He actually became a visitor to his own house.
It was great. It was great to see that face, and I didn't know that face would be so pretty. So it was great to see that face, young little son. And when I remember when I first came back from South Africa, my mother-in-law asked me to hold her in my lap. I was so scared that she would slip in between the arms that I didn't want to hold her. And I sat on the bed, in the middle of the bed, and held her in my arms. Not that I can still hold her in my arms. Now she jumps out of it. So it was great. It was great to have your own daughter. It's even greater to see her grow up, and she's a lovely girl actually. She's a sporting friendly girl. She loves sports. She loves running around. That's why she's so slim, and it's great. It's great fun.
The 2003 World Cup, the most important assignment in Sourav Ganguly's stint as captain.
Sourav, India reached a World Cup final after 20 years. It was an amazing feeling for all of us. What were your feelings?
When we went to the World Cup, we were under a lot of fire. People were saying that we were not the right side who went to the World Cup. We didn't pick the right team. We didn't start off well. We lost to Australia and managed to beat Holland. But then the way we picked up after that, and we won 9 games in a row to get to the World Cup final. So it was a phenomenal run, those 1.5 months in South Africa.
In 2003, in the World Cup, initial period was a little tough for us. The first 2-3 games were tough for us. We won 2 out of 3 matches, but still there were alarming situations here and there.
He's nicked that. That is good bowling. Extra bounce for Bigel.
There were stones thrown at players' houses, their window panes broken, their car glasses broken, which was pretty sad. People should have understood that we were trying to do well. Sometimes in sport it doesn't happen. You want to give your best, and somehow the opposition plays better than you.
Sure.
So there was a discussion in the team that we need to stand up because we need to put an end to all this nonsense.
I guess we've been through a lot. I mean, both as individuals.
Is it true that you instructed your players not to speak to the commentators during the World Cup?
It's not
fully true, but we were really hurt by some of the comments which were made. Being former players, it's important that you support the team, especially when the team's down, and especially when you have been through such situations. Every player understands that you fail. Probably you fail more than you succeed at this level. It's how well you do when you succeed. So from that point of view, we were a bit disappointed, and we had reports coming in that some people have got personal.
Punching his bat with his gloves.
He was coming straight out of the heart. He never used to think, but his interest was his team. He wanted India to do well. Okay, so if anything was obstructing that, he used to just say it off the cuff.
We knew that we had to deliver at the World Cup. It was a big stage, and we knew in a country where it's a huge passion, there were a lot of hopes on the World Cup. And we knew we had the team. Before New Zealand, that over that 1 year span, we won every one-day competition. So we had the confidence, but the boys knew that it was time we delivered.
And after that, as a team, we gathered that momentum, which was special, which was fantastic. I have wonderful memories of that. And we went all the way to the finals, and then we all of a sudden realized that, we are in the finals, World Cup finals. And even now, when we look back, those couple of months just flew by because we were all training together, working hard and all that. And I think captain has a huge role to play there, to keep all the players motivated and to understand the strengths and the weaknesses of every individual. And Sourav understood that.
Now that's again taken the outside edge. Lara is on a roll at the moment. Wickets continue to tumble as far as England are concerned.
It was a huge feat to reach the World Cup final on hard South African pitches. But India lost it against Ponting's Australia. But then, don't all classic romantic tales have a tragic end?
I definitely feel winning the toss and fielding first was the right decision, because the way we bowled right throughout the tournament, we were getting teams out for 150, and we knew that the best Australia was in such good form. They had won 10 games till the final, so we knew that if we have to beat them, we have to hurt them early. It rained overnight when we went in the morning of the game. If you remember, the game started late because there were wet patches on the wicket.
Right.
And that happens only when there is moisture.
Right.
So we thought that the way we bowled in the previous games, if we can get Australia to be 100 for 5 at some stage, then we will be able to control the game, because they were a formidable side then. But then the way Ricky Ponting batted and Damien Martin batted, they just took the game away from us.
বাবার একটা ড্রাইভার ছিল নিতাই বাবু বলে। তো বাবা রোজ স্কুলে যেত। স্কুল 8টার থেকে বা 7টার থেকে শুরু হতো।
না সেন্ট জেভিয়ার্স কলেজ সকাল 5:30 থেকে শুরু হতো।
5:30 থেকে যেত। ঠাম্মা তো বাবাকে সেই 4টার সময় এখনো যেমন তুলে দেয়। তো তারপরে দাদু তোমার সব প্লেটে করে মাছ ভাত নিয়ে বসতো। তো বাবা খেয়ে স্কুলে যাওয়ার সময় নিতাই বাবাকে বলতো, তুমি ঘরে আসো, আমি যখন খাচ্ছি চাদর, একটা পাশ বালিশ আর একটা চাদর নিয়ে গাড়িতে যাও। তো নিতাই বাবু তো একটা চাদর, বালিশ আর পাশ বালিশ নিয়ে গাড়িতে যেত। তো গাড়িতে গিয়ে তখন বাবা 1 কাপ চা নিত, নিয়ে গাড়িতে উঠে বাবা স্কুলে পৌঁছাতো 5:30, 5:30 থেকে 7টা অবধি ঘুমিয়ে নে, 3rd ক্লাসে গিয়ে বাবা ক্লাসে যেত। মিস করি না কেন, আমার বন্ধুরা সব থাকে, তাই আদের সময় বাবার কথা
ছোটবেলা থেকে বাবাকে মিস করছে তো লাইক মানে it's become a part of her routine, so she doesn't miss much. He gets a little angry if Sana cheats a bit, then he gets angry, otherwise it's okay. No, that's because mother is more in the house.
He always shouts at me and always wants me to study.
No, I don't always want her to study, but I wanted to study for a little time, but with concentration. When the concentration is not there, then she, like, gets a little bit of scolding.
Long time he was not been able to go to any puja ceremony and stuff. So he decided that this time I will go. Come may what, he will go. So we were very scared that what you're telling, if you go, there will be. So no, we have to plan out something and we will go. So then decided that he will go in a disguise. So he wore like a Punjabi, a turban and everything. And fortunately, nobody recognized him. And even the police didn't recognize him. So, and then we went to two or three police to say that this is Sourav Ganguly, please nearby, stay nearby. If somebody we need to find people to protect him.
The Sourav Ganguly that I met in 2003 was very confident, very positive, had a huge vision for what he wanted to see of Indian cricket, and particularly on that tour. It was a tour that he wanted Indian cricket to make a statement, and it was an enjoyable week that we spent together in Sydney in 2003, and I was in Brisbane as a commentator for the first Test match and saw that 100, and it was a huge statement from a captain who was under some pressure. I think there was a feeling that he didn't handle the bouncy wickets very well, that could be intimidated. He came out to bat at a very difficult time for India. Early wickets had fallen. It was a green wicket, probably the sort of wicket that he least liked. And it was an opportunity that was going to, the series could go one way or the other based on that particular day. If India gets through that day well, then the series is set up. Should Sourav fail and India fail, then the pressure was going to get greater and greater. It was one of the great innings that I've seen. It was certainly one of the great captain's innings that I'd seen at that stage.
He goes to 99, he's coming back for the second, he's going to have to hurry, and Ganguly makes it, jumps in the air, a triumphant punch. Well played, Sourav Ganguly, his first century against Australia, and his 11th of his career. That is a magnificent effort.
If Sourav had real problems with fast short pitch bowling, then I think his Test record would be a lot worse than it is, and he wouldn't have survived in the game for as long as he has. So, batting's not all about having every shot in the book. It's about being able to perfect what you've got. And Sourav, over a long period of time, if he has been uncomfortable with a certain type of bowling, has always found a way to get the job done. As I said, I've always got on very well with Sourav, right from the first time we ever played against each other. There's probably a few other Australian captains that haven't got on as well with him. I think Steve Waugh and him never had the best relationship, but look, I've always got on well with him. We've always been able to share a bit of a laugh and a joke on the field and off the field. And
yes, he's got back to ball, and that.
He was so good on the offside that people tend to sort of ignore the number of runs that he scored on the onside. If I have to talk about Sourav's batting, I think it's a special gift. The way he played on the offside, especially, was special. I mean, not many guys could do what Sourav did in his playing days.
In 2003, India toured Australia, led by Sourav. Chin music was set to be the theme for the Indian captain, but Sourav allowed the wood to do the talking. India dominated the series, and Australia just about managed to keep it level. From Australia on to Pakistan, Team India came out triumphant both in tests and one-dayers for the first time.
I think still remember that when I was not scoring and he come to me and asked me that what's your problem, can you share with me so I can guide you something, because I was playing international cricket so long, so I can share my experience with you and it will help you to get your confidence back, and maybe you will score runs in couple of next coming games. So I think he is a wonderful human being also.
Indian cricket progressed in leaps and bounds, as the results abroad suggested. The very fabric of Team India was stitched by the three most powerful minds, Sourav, Sachin and Dravid, the big three.
The nice thing for me, the three of us have been around for so long. We've lent a certain stability and I say class to the middle order, and we've helped achieve some memorable victories for India both in one-day cricket and in Test cricket in India and abroad. And I think just the whole journey has been something that I've cherished.
We were a very strong team at home, but a very soft team outside. That's what we thought about in 1999, that we want to change the face of Indian cricket. We cannot be just seen as a party who's come onto a tour, a couple of outstanding individual players who would get hundreds. The team would buckle down under pressure, lose and catch the flight home and get on another plane for another tour. And that's the biggest thing in Indian cricket which I see today, is that we've become an equally strong team at home and outside.
Good shot, beats point, that'll go for four, third man won't get it.
Well, I enjoyed batting with Sourav. Opening the innings with Sourav was fun. Even before the ball was delivered, I could just look at Sourav and I knew exactly what he was planning to play, how he was setting up a bowler. So we both knew each other's game, and that made things interesting. Every time after playing a big shot, I would walk up to him and I said, I knew you were setting him up, weren't you? And then similarly, he would come and tell me. So, we've had wonderful times. When you got two guys who've been around for a long time and they know each other's game so well, there's bound to be some success there.
Oh, the funniest incident ever was actually with Sourav. It was April Fool's Day and we were playing Pakistan in Cochin. We were playing in Cochin and it was April Fool's Day, and overnight me and Bhaji made plans that April Fool we're going to go for Sourav, and we drafted a paper. We put like Times of India news that Sourav has accused his own players. He's accused Harbhajan for indiscipline, or he's against Yuvraj and against Rahul and Sachin, and we made all this report. And next day before the game, Harbhajan started off saying that, what is this, Sourav, what are you saying in the press? And he just walked off the dressing room with his kit bag. And I said a few words and everybody came in, and Sourav he was so upset. He said, boys, if I have said anything like this, I will resign just now. And his face became really red. And Rahul couldn't see him like that, and Rahul just started laughing, and then we started laughing. I think making Sourav Ganguly Bakra that day was one of the funniest moments of Indian cricket till now.
May have pitched outside. Oh, he's given. First ball duck for Alex Stewart. Indians on fire. We talked about Nasir Hussain being a big wicket. This is another huge one for India.
Greg Chappell disturbed the equilibrium of Indian cricket. Trust in the coach was no longer existent. The most turbulent period in Indian cricket started with the away series of Zimbabwe.
There was some suggestion, you've just come back from the press conference, there was some suggestion there that there was talk of maybe stepping down from the captaincy. Was there too much to that?
Not from my point of view, not from me personally.
Was it ever suggested to you then?
Yes, it was.
It couldn't be very easy then. I mean, you're going out there, there's someone suggesting that maybe you're not the right man. Was that the reason there was a lot of pressure on you? Or are we reading too much into it?
Well, I don't want to elaborate the issue, don't want to go into it much more, but probably it gave me the kick to fight on for 6 hours.
Sourav was dethroned from the captaincy after winning an abroad series in Zimbabwe, where he himself scored a century. the Chappell-Sourav saga began from this very series.
Yeah, the Sourav that I met in the middle of 2005 was a very different person and a very different batsman from the one that I'd seen in Sydney in 2003. It wasn't the same person. He didn't have the confidence, he didn't have the vision. His vision was very narrow and very short-termed.
Well, that's completely his opinion. I would not agree to that. Every time a team loses, you get to hear all sorts of all these questions.
We had a couple of discussions that I thought were leading towards the right direction, but then very soon I saw that it wasn't going in that right direction.
He was also misguided by a lot of people, around who gave him wrong information, and he didn't go by first-hand experience. He probably dealt with a lot of information which was wrongly informed to him.
Nobody's 100% right, nobody's 100% wrong, and I don't claim to be 100% right. There are things that maybe we could have done differently, and I could have done differently.
Well, I think it was unfortunate whatever happened. Obviously, there were issues of captaincy, issues of who would run the team, and I was a bit surprised, honestly, with these issues.
Look, the Sourav Ganguly that burst onto the international stage was an exciting and talented player, and I think his batting perhaps has been overshadowed by his captaincy.
I don't know about that. I think he's achieved a lot as a captain, and I think he's achieved a lot as a batsman as well. So I think they're two different things, and I don't think you can put a mark or a number to it and say this has overshadowed that. I think he's he's done well in both forms of the game. He's captained his country, so I don't see why that should happen.
I think he was more happy to be the leader and to be the visionary.
Whatever said and done, in a cricket team, captain's always going to run the show because he actually does things on the park, and it's with any cricket team in the world. It's not just India and me, or it's not just me and Chappell, but it's the right way to go about with every good teams in the world, and you see that's the way it's gone on.
Chappell's philosophy was completely different from Ganguly's philosophy, where individual was not important, star system was not important, and Chappell even felt at some extent that Sachin Tendulkar was not important. I just published what Chappell said officially, but before that, privately he said so much that the entire media knew about it, the players knew about it. I mean, they did not hide their feelings for each other. And when I spoke to Ganguly, he already knew about it, number one. Number two is that, but despite my repeated persuasion, he refused to say anything, and he had a very logical point of view. He said that if this mail has already reached the board will ask for my explanation. And why should I give my explanation to the media? Chappell, if he has done it, is his problem. But as far as I am concerned, the Indian captain will only speak to the Indian board.
Change of power in Indian cricket happened both on and off the ground. Sourav Ganguly was dropped.
Sourav obviously was dropped for not right reasons.
He went through some tough phases, very, very tough phases.
I never thought that such things exist in cricket, in sport. Those incidents was not only an eye-opener for me in sport, but an eye-opener for me in life. And
যখন হিসেব খাতা খুলছো মুছতে চাইছো কারোর নাম এভাবেই কি মেটাচ্ছ তার এতদিনের পরিশ্রমের দাম যখন হিসেব খাতা খুলছো মুছতে চাইছো কারোর নাম এভাবেই কি মেটাচ্ছ তার এতদিনের পরিশ্রমের দাম চেপে রেখো বেঁধে রেখো সবাই মুখ তুলে ঘুরে দাঁড়াবার সময় ঘুরে দাঁড়াবোই ঘুরে দাঁড়াবোই ঘুরে 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 দাঁড়াবোই ঘুরে দাঁড়াবোই ঘুরে দাঁড়াবোই ঘুরে 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 দাঁড়াবোই ঘুরে দাঁড়াবোই ঘুরে দাঁড়াবোই ঘুরে 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 দাঁড়াবোই ঘুরে দাঁড়াবোই ঘুরে দাঁড়াবোই ঘুরে ঘুরে ঘুরে
Dilip Vengsarkar became the chairman of the selectors committee and set aside the disorder prevailing.
Hey, what's up? Good morning. And Kolkata should be celebrating because the Prince of Kolkata has been selected once again for the Indian cricket team. Clap, 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 clap. Sourav Ganguly should be on that flight to South Africa. Right now, I believe he is at the Eden Gardens practicing, sweating it out. And no one knows better than Sourav Ganguly how much he wanted this. Of course, a person who's been constantly telling others that he does not really need to prove himself any longer. But still, as a nation, as a Bengali, we all feel proud of this man. And
In an early winter evening, Sourav left for South Africa to fight a lone battle. For Bengal, it was the question of existence in world sports. The whole family went to the airport. Everyone knew that he will have only one chance to show his heart again.
One thing is certain for Sourav Ganguly, that if he decides that he has to score runs, he will score runs, and he has proved time and again. But as a reporter, I will never forget that 51 and before that, the 87 something in the Potchefstroom in the warm-up game. I think he gave a clear indication to the selectors, to the team management, that he's there to stay.
When I went to South Africa, when I boarded that flight, I spoke to myself that I might get hit, which I would on those quick wickets. I might break an arm, break a finger, I might get killed. But I'll come back from the series scoring runs.
Extremely determined comeback, and I clearly remember telling him, we had a conversation where only just the two of us were there and we were speaking heart out, and I told him that, Sourav, you won't believe, but throughout your career, this is the best I've seen you bat.
He wanted to come back strong, and he had a different kind of determination on his face that time.
When he came back in Johannesburg, I think he'd cleared a lot of mind space, and I thought there was a lightness about him that was much closer to the person that I'd met back in 2003 and had seen play in that series in 2003 and 2004. And, he was going to go out there and he was going to play with some freedom. And he did play with some freedom. And I think over the next months and probably the next 18 months or so, he got back much closer to the Sourav that I first met.
Ganguly, that's where his strength lies. Just little punch. His weight was on the front foot. There were three fielders there.
You know, the circumstances are like that, so nobody was expecting Sourav will come back into the side. But the way he came back to the team with his determination and with his hungerness of runs, so he scored lots of runs after that. And you know, okay, somebody dropped me for 8 months, but now I'm ready to prove again that I have lots of cricket left in my side.
And then he came back and then he proved to be the man of steel or whatever. So, which is like, it's very nice. You feel very proud, like sitting beside him and talking about that.
Sourav had an unbelievable 2 years after his comeback. He amassed the maximum number of runs in the team. He went on to play the 2007 World Cup in the Caribbean. When everything was falling into place, the crying desire to raise his bat at his beloved Eden couldn't remain unconquered.
If I had to finish my career without 100 in my home city, because every time I played at Eden Gardens, there were 100,000 people watching. So this place has always been special, and as I said, if I would have finished at Eden without getting a test 100, it would have been something, a big dark spot in my career.
From somebody who stood at the non-striker's end, and if I have to judge his batting, if I was asked to compare, would that be a better player or this, I would have said this one for sure.
Like that, he's found the gap. Beautifully struck on the up. Well, that's a lovely shot. No need to chase it.
Oh, look, I think Sourav's been a great batsman for India for a long time now. He's obviously excelled at test level, he's excelled at one-day level. He's led his country very well and he's had an opportunity to be captain of India. His fair share of success against Australia in both forms of the game. He's made, 16 or 17 test match hundreds, something like that. So look, at the end of the day, I think Sourav will be very, very proud of his overall record in both test cricket and one-day cricket.
It's a huge honor, when I walked out to bat for my 100th test match at Melbourne. And it was just a different feeling. You get test match hundreds which happen in a day. You get one-day hundreds which happen in a session. But to get to 100 number of games, which has taken about 14 years, it's just a fantastic feeling. It's like an Olympic sprinter trying to finish 100 meters at about, say, 9.3, 9.4 seconds. So for a cricketer, it's about performance and playing 100 test matches and 300 one-day games.
I just want to say that this is going to be my last series. I've decided to quit.
I was surprised, to be honest, because I didn't know. And like me, the entire team didn't know about it. It happened before the Australian series last year. In the dressing room, he announced to the players that this is going to be my last series, and that came as a surprise to all of us.
It's a hard thing to say you don't want to play for India anymore, because that's the passion, that's the love that's the thing you want to do. I was not happy with the way I got dealt with in the Irani Trophy. I had an outstanding year. I had outstanding 2 years since I came back into international cricket. I had averaged nearly 50. But somehow I felt that, if anybody had to go, it was me first. And I didn't understand why.
Right.
Because there were people who hadn't performed, who hadn't got half the runs I did in those 2 years. And what happened in Test cricket was not required. I felt that, I was being judged series by series, which was not the case with the others, and I didn't want to play cricket in that atmosphere.
And nobody has any right to make any comment on that. I think it is only that player's decision, and after having played for such a long, you didn't need someone else to tell him what to do and what not to do.
Saurav himself only announced his retirement, but we love to share dressing with him a little bit more also. But it's only depend on individual.
I just felt the yardstick for me wasn't the same.
A person who is averaging 60 in a test match at that time, he can't retire by his own wish. And I know Sourav, he loves to play. Cricket is his passion. So that retirement is, I think, there was something behind, and he was forced to retire.
আমরা দুঃখ পেয়েছিলাম দুজনে প্রচুর, যে এখনও ওর সঙ্গে যারা খেলেছে তারা খেলে যাচ্ছে, আর সেই সৌরভ গাঙ্গুলি এখন চুপচাপ টিভি বসে বসে টিভি দেখছে, টিভিতে খেলা দেখছে, কাগজে লিখছে, এই করছে। এটা তো কী সেটা তোমরাও জানো, আমার তো আর নিজের মুখ থেকে বলার দরকার নেই, কে করেছে না করেছে সবই জানা আছে। প্রচুর দুঃখ পেয়েছিলাম, প্রচুর প্রচুর, মানে খেলে ডেবিউ করে যতটা একটা আনন্দ হয়েছিল, এটা আমাকে খুব আঘাত দিয়েছে, খুব আঘাত দিয়েছে।
The whole team will miss you, the entire nation will miss you. Walking with the team, you've been a terrific contributor.
You've been a fantastic cricketer. Under you, we have learned how to win matches, test matches abroad. Congratulations to that. And your batting is something which all of us cherish watching in the dressing room. I'm really glad that you have had an opportunity to do everything that was possible on a cricket field. And to you, I wish you all the very best in your retired life.
The most deserving person for this golden helmet is, of course, our very own. Everybody, let's put our hands together for the one and only Sourav Ganguly. Can we have him on stage?
In the meantime, the IPL bonanza entered Indian cricket as well as Sourav's life.
For a moment, I thought I was the most popular guy in Kolkata. Now I know.
Even after being one of the most successful players of the tournament in 3 years and the highest run-getter for his team, Sourav Ganguly was royally ignored to the utter dismay of his fans, followers and the entire cricketing world.
There are good players, then there are very good players, and then there are gifted players. And Sourav definitely comes in that category, the gifted category.
I think he is one of the best men I have seen in Indian team.
As I said, he's been a great player for India for a long time and thoroughly deserves all the recognition that comes his way.
I was lucky to have a captain like him.
People will remember him always as a fighter, big cricketer.
I personally felt that he was one of the best captains produced in India.
I think he's been a great batsman for India.
He'll always be remembered as the flamboyant, gambling style player, and maybe that's what he should be remembered for. As a captain, I think he's going to stand the test of time. He's one of the great leaders that India has had, and I think without his vision and his energy, Indian cricket at that time wouldn't have gone as far as it did.
After we all leave cricket, we'll still remain as special as we are today.
He is a person who has experienced the champagne air at the tip of Mount Everest and smelled the barren soil as well. The most tempting part of a legend's life is to determine the exit. Few succeed in doing that. Sourav Ganguly always had the gift of timing, and his exit was an endorsement of his magical sense of time. He hung his boots on his own terms when he was still at his peak. Yes, Sourav has entertained all of us by playing cricket, but his die-hard fans take pride in calling him the Warrior Prince.
খোলা মাঠে পিষে ফেলে ঘাসে ছুটে যাওয়া, খোলা চুলে এলোমেলো খেলে ভীষণ হাওয়া, চোখ জলে দাঁতে দাঁতে চেপা জেতার খিদে, সুচক্র জমি যুদ্ধ করে জেতা কিসের জেদে, আর একবার যেও তুমি হেঁটে যেও হাততালির রাত, আর দেখো কত মানুষ দাঁড়িয়ে বাড়িয়ে হাত, অটোগ্রাফ দিও, অটোগ্রাফ দিও, অটোগ্রাফ দিও, অটোগ্রাফ দিও। যতবার তুমি আগুনে পুড়েছো হয়েছো খাঁটি সোনা, হাজার চেষ্টায় মুছতে পারেনি ওরা তোমার নাম, এগিয়ে গিয়েছো জড়িয়ে ধরেছো খুঁজেছো প্রাণ তাজা, সময়ের সাথে বুঝিয়ে দিয়েছো তুমি মহারাজা, আর একবার যেও তুমি